Welcome back to Context. So, I want you to prepare yourself because I'm going to lean in a little bit to my microphone. In this story, Spider-Man is about to face his toughest and most deadliest foe yet. A foe that always has the last laugh. You see, everyone always talks about the Joker, but not after today. No, not after what we're about to discuss here today. Joker is old news. I mean, you've seen this movie. It flopped, all right? But this, but from the ashes of Joker will soon rise the jester. So look, you know what this is by now, okay? So in this story, Spider-Man is going to be facing off against, the most E-tier villain you could think of. Yeah, you heard that right. E is an elephant, like one of the most E-tier villains you've probably seen. So, grab a snack if you have one nearby, and let's dive into Spider-Man meets the Jester. The Jester. Wait. First, real quick, a little backstory. So, Jester actually has a similar origin to one of the Joker's origins, but he has the extra step of being a daily actor before he became a failed comic. And eventually he has enough and he turns to a life of crime. I guess Joker was right. It only takes one bad day, right? But anyway, let's get into the story. So our story begins with two security guards. And they're guarding the Lincoln Savings Bank. And it's all of a sudden, in appears Jester, who plans to use his trick cards to blow the safe wide open. Now, once he appears, the security guards are obviously skeptical, and they tell him he doesn't belong there, he needs to get out. But he offers to entertain them. And one security guard says, "Gee, I'm crazy for card tricks." Hey, man. Hey, wait. This is page 1. Electric Company, please. This is page 1. You gotta start letting me get to page 2 before you start doing stuff like this. What? So this security guard who is guarding a literal bank sees a guy waltz in with a mask and he lets his guard down. See, this right here is why security guards have a bad rep, right here. Look, I know there might be some security guards watching. I know you guys do a good job. I'm not talking about you. But it's people like this, man. it's people like this that give you guys a bad reputation. I was at a store one time and there was a security guard there who she was literally like a 4 foot tall, 70-year-old woman, and I'm like, what is she supposed to be guarding? She's supposed to be guarding here. How are you gonna? Anyway, the security guard pulls a card and it blows up in his face immediately. Because of course it does. So Jester gets into the vault and gets away with a huge amount of cash, which he, of course puts in a big sack over his shoulder because, that's what you do when you rob a bank. You put in a big sack and you walk around with it over your shoulder. Unfortunately, as luck would have it, as he's, trying to make his getaway, a cop is riding on his horse nearby. But surprisingly, it's not that big of a deal. Because you see, the Jester, he looks so ridiculous that the cop doesn't take him seriously. And he plays it off as if he's, selling yo-yos or something. The cop is like, ugh, get away from me, weirdo. I don't want anything to do with you. And you know what? This is actually a pretty smart move by Jester. I can see how this might actually work. Like, I can see how this might actually work. But the problem is that Jester immediately attacks the cop anyway. Like, he was gonna get away and he attacks the cop anyway. Why? You about to get away scot-free. I don't get it. He said the cop was like cramping his style. So he ties him up with a yo-yo and steals his police horse. So he could have just like literally just walked away. Anyway, later on, J.J. Jameson is going nuts about this Jester guy. And when it's even suggested to him that Spider-Man could possibly help, he is not having it at all. He actually puts out a $24 reward. And this is how you know it was the 70s. Because Peter, he has this thought of, man, this might pay for Aunt May's medical bill. Like, okay. Apparently there's one bank Jester has yet to hit. So they send Peter Parker over there to get pictures. But Peter is not going to be the one going there. It's going to be, of course, Spider-Man is going to be there. And what do you know it? Right there at Siemens Bank is the... I won't say anything, I promise. Alright, that Siemens Bank is the Jester. So Spider-Man confronts him, but he seems to have forgotten his web shooters were out of fluid. I would think that might be the first thing you check before you start fighting crime. You make sure your web shooters are still working. But maybe I'm being silly. Maybe I'm being stupid. So Jester is able to throw down marbles, which quickly slips Spider-Man up, and he's able to get away. But Spider-Man thinks fast, and he throws a track on him so he can track him down later on at his hideout. And his hideout is it's a penthouse pad apparently. Like, aren't you supposed to use like an abandoned warehouse or something like that? Like something that people aren't really checking. I wouldn't think a penthouse would be a secret hideout, but whatever, I guess. And we can actually see here that he's hit up like literally every bank. Like every bank in New York. Like we could see First National Bank, we see Chase. Like, dang, man. Like, I know I say he was E-list, like he was an E-lister, but he actually put in some work with this. Like he's like this has been very successful for him. But after spending meanwhile we kind of cut back to Spidey here, and after spending some time searching around the city, Spider-Man tracks him out pretty quickly because of the tracker he had on him. And when he confronts him, they start to fight again. Jester actually has trick toys that are all pretty deadly, and he uses a jack-in-the-box with a boxing glove to punch Spider-Man out the window. And this is a pretty crazy feat. You know how much force? Like, just think about it. You know how much force this toy has to, this jack-in-the-box toy has to generate to knock a full-grown man out the window, let alone Spider-Man of all people? Like, all right, fine. You know what? I'm upgrading him. I'm upgrading him to D-list because of this. Because of this one thing, I'm gonna upgrade him to D-list because he caught Spider-Man off guard with this. And that's so rarely. I mean, these they happens all the time, but it should rarely happen. Thanks to Spider-Sense and all that. But Spider-Man is able to get back thanks to, he actually has his webs this time. And unfortunately, Spider-Man with his full kit is just way too much for Jester. And he gets dealt with pretty quickly. And when Spider-Man actually goes to collect, after Jester is caught, Spider-Man goes to J.J. Jameson to collect his check for, capturing him and all that. But when he goes to the bank to cash it, they ask for ID. So apparently Peter didn't think about this, and you know, since he can't reveal his true identity to the clerk, he tears up the check. So he didn't think they would ask for his ID. He thought they would just give him money. I mean, maybe they should have. I mean, it's literally Spider-Man. So maybe they should have just given him the money. I mean, it's freaking Spider-Man. But, you know, policy is policy, you know. Why didn't he just ask for cash? Like, why didn't he just say no? Like, hey, I'm a superhero. Just give me money. Like, I don't want a check. But because he didn't, you know, the jester, he has the last laugh, I guess. Spider-Man is so dumb in these comics. Like, he thought he could cash a check made out the Spider-Man. Wow. Okay, you know what? I'm done. I'm done. That's it. Look, like, comment, you know, dislike if you want, subscribe, all that stuff. I'll catch you guys later. Wow. Wow. Trying to cash a check as Spider-Man.